Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'd like every constituent in the member for Gellibrand's electorate to listen very closely. He's just read talking points. The most insane amount of rubbish has come out of his mouth. Here he is, a Labor member in Melbourne's West who doesn't have the guts, the courage to stand up to Daniel Andrews when he cancelled the East-West link. This is game-changing infrastructure that the member for Gellibrand stood there and said nothing. Now, this is infrastructure that we need, and Daniel Andrews and Labor cancelled that project at a cost of $1.24 billion. And the people in Melbourne's West, the people that the member for Gellibrand represents, have been left high and dry by Labor. High and dry. And the member for Gellibrand has the temerity to stand there when he has been so weak. He has been so weak, no courage, no guts to stand up, no ticker, to say, Daniel Andrews, we need this infrastructure, and we have $3 billion set aside for the East-West link. And what do we get in exchange? We get the Westgate Tunnel project, which is a poor cousin of the East-West link, one small part of the East-West link. Infrastructure Australia, to which the member for Gellibrand referred, says this is an absolute priority for Victoria. And one of the biggest issues that we've had as a government in spending infrastructure money in Victoria is because Labor has refused to put the projects on the table. And I also want to correct the member for Gellibrand what he said in saying there wasn't one new project in Victoria except the Murray Basin Rail project. That is absolutely untrue. We have put $1.7 billion into regional rail. I mean, I cannot believe the member for Gellibrand would be so ignorant to stand up and try and make these comments. $20 million for a new terminal for Avalon Airport, which will service Victoria's West, Melbourne's West. And the mayors and the councillors in the very electorate, the member for Gellibrand, as he walks out because he's so ashamed by his failure to represent his constituents, they were at the announcement of the terminal, and they are very proud that as a government we are providing Victoria's second international terminal, which will also service the people of the West as well as Geelong and Corangamite. And as for the new projects, $50 million, $150 million in total for the duplication of the Geelong rail duplication project, a new project, along with the upgrade of the Warrnambool line. And the Labor Party in Victoria has put only $20 million into that project. We've put nearly $300 million. $150 million our government is committed to the rail duplication project to ensure that Geelong and Corangamite residents can get faster and more reliable rail services, member of Gellibrand. $150 million. And do you know what, Mr Deputy Speaker, do you know what the Labor Party has put in response? And this is a very important part of our city deal, $10 million only. And it can't even get a business plan completed under 2 years. And the Minister for Transport, Public Transport, her office told my office last Friday through the minister that they sent the business plan in the mail and it still hasn't arrived. They're so incompetent, they can't even send a business plan to the Minister for Infrastructure. And as for the member for Grainler, when he was the Minister for Infrastructure and Transport, AirAsia struck a deal with Avalon Airport and Labor blocked that deal. Labor would not give permission to build an international terminal, and the member for Corio said this was not in Geelong or Australia's interests. It was an absolutely shameful decision, and it took 10 years for AirAsia to build the confidence, and we are absolutely fixing this and delivering Victoria's second international airport. The other terrible decision made by Labor when it was in government, it absolutely turned its back on the Great Ocean Road, and that was a decision made by the member for Grainler, who refused to put any money into the Great Ocean Road, which is one of the most iconic and important roads in our country. So Labor has a shameful record, and as the member for Gellibrand leaves this chamber, a man who has failed to stand up for his constituents in the west of Melbourne, I say thank you to the Turnbull government for investing in regional Victoria, in regional rail, in regional airports and in infrastructure across Victoria and this nation.